guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today is Q&A Tuesday. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. Every Tuesday, I take all the questions that have been submitted by viewer comments, through emails, from Instagram, and I put it all into one episode to give you guys the #1 question and answer show about medical coding, airing on Tuesday. So if you want your question answered for next week's Q&A Tuesday, I hope you'll comment below or shoot me an email. Special shout out, thank you to everybody who submitted their question, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first question. Hi, thank you for this video. It is very helpful. I don't have any background in medical, but I have previously worked for a hospital in the administrative department. There I learned about medical coding, but I'm afraid to start because I don't have any background. Is it okay to take the online courses even though I don't have strong medical background? Or should I enroll first in schools that offer courses in anatomy, physiology, and medical terminologies? Thank you. You have to know anatomy, physiology, medical terminology before you start learning the coding, because otherwise it's not going to make any sense. Learning to read and understand medical documentation is going to require you to be able to understand anatomy, physiology, and medical terminology. If you don't understand those three things, or if you don't have a good grasp of them, it's going to be very difficult to get through the coding part. When I went into school, I had zero background in medical at all. I knew nothing. I didn't even know what medical coding was. But I was a reader, and I'm still a reader. So that's the thing that helped me. And I like to read, and that's a big part of this field. And so learning anatomy, physiology, and medical terminology was very easy because it's what I like to do, is read books. So because of this, I was able to learn it, and that was what I learned first. So even if you don't have a strong background in medical, whatever program you're in, if they have anatomy, physiology, medical terminology first, that is what you want to take, because that's the only way the rest of it's going to be able to make sense. So that's just my advice on that one. Next question. Is the NHA good? NHA, if you don't know, is a National Health Career Association. Is that right? Health Careers? Okay, National Health Career Association. This is not AHIMA. This is not AAPC. If you are wanting to be a medical coder, you need to be certified with the American Health Information Management Association or the American Academy of Professional Coders. If you are wanting to be competitive, you need to be certified with one of them. The NHA is for a billing. They have a billing credential, and I'm not going to mention it here. But I will say this also. You do not have to be certified to be a medical biller. Oftentimes, when billing companies are hiring, they will train you. Some will want you to have experience. Most won't. I've done many medical coding job listing reviews about medical billers, and a lot of them say that they will train. So this is something that does not require a certification. I want you guys to think about these things when you're getting these certificates and these certifications. These certifications require you to pay for continuing education units. If you are not working yet, you still have to maintain your credential. You get like a certain time frame. I don't know what it is with the NHA, but with the associations, it's typically like 2 years that you get. In order to keep your credential going, you have to get these continuing education units. So you want to invest your money and your time in something that is going to make you viable in the industry that you want to be in, which is medical coding. So if you are looking to be a competitive medical coder, you have to go through AHIMA or AAPC. And again, you do not have to be certified to be a medical biller. I'm just going to leave that right there, okay? So, next question. What do you learn first? CPT, current procedural terminology, and that is the procedures book for the outpatient side of the house, or ICD-10-CM, that's the diagnosis. You have to learn your diagnosis coding first. I mean, the procedures is not going to make any sense if you learn that one first, because it all starts with the diagnoses. At least when I learned, it was starting with the diagnoses. It's a little bit if you try to go the other way first. So in order to break it down and understand everything, I think that a really good thing to learn first would be the diagnosis coding, which is the ICD-10-CM. Okay. Next question. Thank you, Bleu, for mentioning my comment about the sedentary lifestyle. But thank you even more for bringing up, along with that, the eye straining, because I already have very bad eyes. I'm afraid that I will struggle seeing all the info on the computer. Is all the info tiny print, and can we zoom if needed? Thank you again. Yes, you can. And that's knowing your basic computer skills and being able to zoom in and zoom out. Every computer is different. I am not very technologically advanced, although I do know that if I hit the control and I move the mouse, the little round thing in the mouse, that it will make my screen bigger when the print looks too small. So it just depends on what system that you're using. Sometimes with different electronic health records, they have different things to help set up to make the print bigger or make the print smaller, whatever would make it easier for you to see. So yes, it is. They do have a lot of that to help you to look at the record. So that's my answer on that one. Next question. Hi, thanks for posting such informative content. I wanted to know how well I would do career-wise with just a technical certification as opposed to an associate's degree or a bachelor's. So if you are brand new to the field of health information, right? And you're thinking, should I get a degree? Would it make me look better? Would I get more money? Oftentimes a credentialed medical coder and a degree holder are making about the same. Sometimes a coder is making a little bit more than the degree holder, and sometimes the degree holder is making a little bit more. It just depends on what they're doing. But from what I have seen and what I know of the industry, there's not a whole lot of difference sometimes in the pay. Now, the other thing about it is too, if you are wanting to get your degree, which is going to be a time commitment and a financial commitment, a huge financial commitment, you have to consider the facts. When you get your degree, they are looking at you like you are a supervisor or you are wanting to be a manager. That is typically what those degrees are for. The RHIT, or the associate's degree, acts as a deputy to the RHIA, which is the Registered Health Information Administrator, and that is the bachelor's degree. So if you are going for your degree programs, they're thinking that that's what you want to do, that you want to be a supervisor or you want to be in the executive suite, because the RHIAs, they typically run whole departments. Their function is not to do coding. They are there to lead. They are the chief of the department. That is what they do. So a lot of their time is spent in meetings. They do a lot of statistics and things like that. That is their function. With the RHITs, they are boots on the ground and they are working with the coders. Sometimes they are supervising them. Sometimes they function as educators for providers or the coders, and they do the auditing. So there's a little bit more coding with the RHIT side, but their concentration when you're in school for either or, the bachelor's or the associates, is to be in a managerial type position. So if that's not what you want to do, then you want to go with the certification. And there is nothing wrong with certification because, again, certified medical coders do very well and oftentimes can make even more, or sometimes they make about the same as somebody with a degree, depending on what they're doing. So that is what I have to say about that. But if you're going to choose to go to the degree route, carefully consider what you're getting yourself into. The cost of a degree is the same as a down payment on a house, or it could be the total cost of a car. So think about this. You don't want to get yourself into debt for something that you don't even, if you don't know what the field is about. I recommend that you start off with the certification, because if you start off with the certification, at least this way you can figure out if this is really what you want to do. And if you get lucky, maybe you'll work for an employer who will offer you tuition reimbursement, so that way you don't have to pay for it so much out of pocket. or you can get a little bit more financial help to pay for it, because there is no sense in getting into student loan debt. And that is like the theme of this week, is to get you guys to think about this. It is not necessary when you can just get a certification and you can have just as a successful career with the certification. Now, the certification, if you want my opinion, the gold standard of medical coding credentials is the CCS, which is a Certified Coding Specialist, and that is offered with the American Health Information Management Association. This one credential says that you can code both inpatient and outpatient, that you are trained in ICD-10 PCS, which is the inpatient procedures, and CPT, the current procedural terminology, and that is the outpatient procedures. So this one credential says that you can basically be anywhere. Although whatever credential you hold, it depends on where you're working and what you're doing. Some credentials are more geared towards the outpatient side, and some are geared towards the inpatient side, and some are both. So it just depends. With the American Academy of Professional Coders, they have the CIC, the Certified Inpatient Coder, and they also have the CPC, which is a Certified Professional Coder. So you would have to get 2 credentials in order to say that you can code both inpatient and outpatient. And with AHIMA, it's just the one credential, which is the CCS. So it's entirely up to you. But to me, when it comes to getting into student loan debt, that is something that can haunt you forever. And if you don't know if this is really what you want to do, it's a big gamble in order to get into this and then decide that you don't like to do it. I've known many people who have gotten their degrees, RHITs and RHIAs, and they said, if I would have known, I would have never picked this. This wasn't for me, and no one said. So they tell other people about their experience, but everybody's experience is going to be different. Some people get into this and truly love it. I was blessed enough to start loving this. I didn't start off this way. This was a job in the beginning. This was like, oh yeah, I got a good job. And then after a while, I had my aha moment. Everybody has their aha moment when they really truly find something that they're passionate about. And I had my aha moment in 2014, and I will never forget that, because that is when I fell in love with this. And I started to just dive deep into everything that had to do with coding. And I started learning more. And we were going over to ICD-10, and it was just really, it was all coding all the time. So, I just sort of started to learn more and branch out, and I started going to the conferences for AHIMA, and I went to my first national conference that year in 2014, and it was in San Diego, and it was amazing. Everything that I learned and everything that I saw and did, it just completely turned my whole life around when I think about it, right? Because the trajectory of your life depends on what you're doing, like with your profession. And if you truly love what you're doing, you're never going to work a day in your life. I've said that since the very beginning of my channel. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And that's where I feel like I am. And I think that's pretty incredible, because most people, or some people, they feel like, they always want to do something else, or they always think about, well, I should have done this, I should have done that, or I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done that. And, we only get one rodeo. You know what I'm saying? We only get one rodeo, and you got to be happy with whatever you're doing. So that's what I recommend anyway. So I know I got a little bit off topic, but oh well. You guys know what I mean. Just consider very carefully, okay? Next question. How hard is it to get a job once you're certified? So when it comes to finding a job, and this whole week is dedicated to career week, okay? For me on my channel. But I'm going to be talking about this, right? Tomorrow's episode, I'm going to be talking more about this. But when you're out looking for a job and you're a brand new medical coder, there are things that are staples that you have to have right. Your resume and your cover letter. And that's what I'm pretty much going to talk about right now, because I could get into a whole episode, which I am tomorrow. But your resume and your cover letter have to look right. And they have to look good, and they have to be detailed. And it can't just be a canned response like everything else. I'm a team player, and I want to work, basically. You know what I mean? Like something like that. So those things, you have to turn it around, and you have to make it where you're giving a very detailed response as to why they should hire you. But at the same time, you want to be able to lay out your talents and lay them out in a very organized and very appealing manner. Because at the end of the day, they have to sift through 100 of these at least. And if they all sound the same, the one that doesn't sound the same is going to stand out. The one that is thinking outside the box on how they are presenting their resume and how they are writing down all of their information, that's the one that's going to stand out. And your cover letter, if it's written in good English, it has to be written in good English, and there has to be really good punctuation. And it can't be this huge long story. It needs to be not bulleted, but it needs to be in like paragraphs, but very short paragraphs. You don't want to tell them a whole story. They just need to get a little bitty glimpse of what you can offer them. What is it about you that's going to make you the most valuable choice for their company? So again, I'll be going into this tomorrow. I do offer resume reviews. If you guys are interested, I will be leaving my rates down in the description box below. If you're interested, contact me. All right, so next question. Thank you all. Thank you so much for the tips. I am currently in a AAPC course. I feel lost. I have the opportunity to get a medical billing job. In your opinion, would this help with the course? I am currently in a medical office, but on the scheduling side. So when it comes to getting a job on the billing side, of course, it's going to give you really good connections. I don't know how much is going to help you with your course part, but you will start to understand the insurance and reimbursement, which is very important when you're learning to become a medical coder. So that might help with that, but I don't know exactly how much, right? And again, you're going to be making really good connections by working for billing. And that's really good, because that's going to be filler for your resume. At least you already have had some exposure to the codes and to the insurance and things like that. So it is really important. If you have the opportunity to do that, go for it. All right, next question. I wonder, does your employer allow tattoos if they're covered up? Okay, and that's just standard, covered up. Okay, next question. I will be taking online classes for medical coding. Do I need to take a class in anatomy? Yes, you do. Next question. See, my problem is the math part. I've heard there is math, and I'm not good at math. There is no math in medical coding. There is very little math in medical coding. And by little, I mean, like if you're looking at the measurements for like a laceration or something like that, or you're looking at units, it is very basic, very, very basic, and it's not a lot. The math comes in if you're doing computer coding. This is not computer coding. This is medical coding. The big thing about us is that we have to read, and we have to have reading comprehension. That is what we do. That is our side. But math is very little, and if it is, it's very basic. So don't let the fear of something like that stop you. And also, one other thing before I get to the last question. Stop listening to other people. Do your research. If you hear something and somebody says something like that, clearly that person didn't know, or they were thinking that that person may be talking about computer coding, okay? So this is why you guys have to go and do your search. Go to the association websites, either ahima.org, aapc.com, or go to Google and ask Google. But don't just listen to other people, because I've been hearing that a lot lately. I heard XYZ. I heard XYZ. And everything that they're hearing is wrong. So you guys do your research. Make sure that you're looking up these questions that you have. You can, of course, ask them here, but make sure that you guys have done your part and done your research, because research is not going to stop at just the beginning. It's going to be your whole career is going to be about research as well. So that's my answer on that one. And the last question. I love your videos. I purchased Mosby's Medical Terminology Flashcards, 4th edition. There are a total of 650 prefixes, suffixes, and root words. Do you think 650 is about all of them? Thank you. That is a very good foundation. That is going to get you started very well. And I always recommend that if you're trying to learn medical terminology, that you guys don't try to memorize thousands of words, that you concentrate on learning your prefixes, your suffixes, and your root words. Because if you do, then you'll be able to piece together lots and lots of words, as opposed to trying to memorize thousands of words that you may never ever see in your career. So remember that. Go and learn your prefixes, your suffixes, and your root words, because that is where it's going to help you. You've got plenty of other stuff that you have to memorize. Don't get bogged down with medical terminology, because otherwise, if you do, I've seen many people just stop because they said, no, this medical terminology is too much for me. You shouldn't let something like medical terminology stop you guys. You shouldn't. I'm just saying, because it is the entire career. Knowing these words, understanding them. But if you know the prefixes, your suffixes, and your root words, that is going to help you tremendously. So that is my show for today. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I am very much straight talk. That is what I do. I hope you've liked this. Give it a thumbs up. Please share it if you think it'll help somebody. And I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. So I'm going to wrap this one up. If you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye!